is Mississippi State to follow. There's a lot of pressure on every SEC football coach, but the reality for Mark Richt is that pressure is growing at Georgia.
These teams should be proud of themselves. Both of them got themselves off the mat, but rightly or wrongly, today's outcome could impact whether or not Mark Richt is Georgia's head coach next year. And for Gus Malzahn, back-to-back wins would be just the momentum he needs to point to what could be a very prosperous 2016.
It is the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Back to 1892. Georgia versus Auburn. It is the 119th football meeting between the Bulldogs and the Tigers.
Let's it go!
Oh my goodness! Oh no!
Among the stories about the origin of War Eagle, that famous Auburn chant, it was first called out in that meeting between these two in 1892 in Atlanta. This is meeting number 119 between Georgia and Auburn. Auburn won the opening toss, takes the opening kickoff, and it will be a touchback. Tigers will get it at the 25-yard line. We begin with the Auburn offense. It was almost a game-time decision, but Jeremy Johnson, you go all the way back to the summer. This was talked about as Jeremy Johnson, the Heisman Trophy candidate, leading an SEC contender. Hasn't matched the script. Benched after 3 weeks, but redemption a week ago with a solid performance in the win at Texas A&M, and another opportunity today for the junior from Montgomery as the starting quarterback for Auburn. There will be a lot of tricks probably from both sides today. Tripped in the backfield, but continuing on and turning the corner inside the 25-yard line. As Auburn rolls downfield on the opening possession, Javon Robinson picks up 24. Mauger finally makes the stop. Talked about how, yeah, there's a lot of tradition, and for the fans it's big, but for these players as well, it's real. Lewis on second down, gets to the edge. Lewis on the carry inside the 10. Gaines makes the stop. First and goal, Auburn.
To kick 4 field goals, they need a touchdown here.
Kerryon Johnson takes the direct snap. Straight ahead, touchdown, Auburn. Johnson takes it in, the true freshman from Madison, Alabama, and it's an opening drive touchdown for the Auburn Tigers. And they do it on the ground. Jeremy Johnson hit the passes when he had to. Johnson goes 4 for 4 on the drive, but it's Kerryon Johnson who takes it in for the touchdown on the rush.
That was an 11-play drive, Carter. Something that Auburn's had struggled doing, but they look to be humming on all cylinders.
Carlson gets the PAT. Johnson takes it in, and it is an opening statement from the Auburn Tigers. A touchdown. Russian worse on third down than the Georgia Bulldogs. Michelle takes it, and he is stopped by Auburn. So you have Michelle and Godwin both in the backfield for third down, but Auburn was ready. Nick Ruffin leads the tacklers. And it is Lambert at quarterback for 4th down and 4. Lambert on the rollout. Complete for a Georgia first down. Malcolm Mitchell holds it in, just the 3rd conversion on 4th down for the Bulldogs this year. 8th play of the drive, out of the eye. There's the play action. Lambert comes back to the fullback. Christian Payne inside the 15. Payne will take it to the 11. Ruffin finally makes the stop, but Christian Payne picks up 20 off play action from Lambert on what will be the final play of the first quarter.
That is the end of the first quarter.
So Auburn opens with a touchdown on a sustained drive. Georgia closes the first with a sustained drive. We'll return to Auburn after this message and a word from your local station. Lambert from the shotgun. Hands off to Sony Michel on first down. Michel takes it inside the 5. Appears to be just short of the first down marker, so it's 2nd down from inside the 2 for Georgia.
Keep your eye on the tight end.
Michel fumbles a football at the 1. Georgia gets back on top of it. It's 3rd and 1 for Georgia. Sonny Michel's going to take it again, and he's stopped. Bringing up 4th down for the Dogs. Devereaux Lawrence leads the push inside for the Auburn Tigers.
Your Georgia looks like they're going to be going for it here. When you're on the road, we talked about the importance of getting touchdowns. With the way things have gone, I would have taken the points here. I don't like their decision here to go for it on 4th down. They can pick up the 1st down, but I think they're taking a heck of a risk here.
So Mark Richt and Brian Schottenheimer only gone for it 6 times on 4th down all year. Already the second 4th down attempt. This is 4th and 1. Play clock winding down. Lambert takes it. Play action. Slam incomplete. Intended for Malcolm Mitchell. And Auburn holds Georgia out of the end zone. It's Carlton Davis, who left earlier in the drive, knocks it away in the end zone.
So story of the game has been the Georgia blunders. First it was the fumble by Michel, and then it was the 4th down errant pass that they couldn't get in. It's the big stop, and the Auburn Tiger D finds a way to hold the Bulldogs struggling early on the road.
It's backed up. 1st and 10 from their own 2-yard line. This is Robinson. Big hole. Javon Robinson breaks it across the 35-yard line. The junior from Memphis, the JUCO National Player of the Year at Georgia Military College, starting to find his legs for Auburn. Game. 1st down. Jeremy Johnson pulls it and dances out of bounds for another Auburn 1st down. Apparently, he was right at the 1st down marker. Chains will move. 3rd down for Auburn. Pressure coming. Johnson throws an interception. It's picked at the 40. Malcolm Parrish hauls it in. Jeremy Johnson just airmailed it to the Georgia defense.
You cannot throw the football high over the middle. Jeremy Johnson has an extremely high arm. He just overthrew the receiver. It was too high. He was trying to get the football to Tony Stevens, who was wide open.
Play action. Lambert pressured and sacked back at the 25. Casanova McKenzie drops Grayson Lambert. 4th down for Georgia. McKenzie, the senior from Birmingham, makes the huge play. Lambert slow to get up.
Casanova McKenzie doing a good job. He gets blocked, but he stays alive. Look at that athleticism. He was almost falling down, but he explodes and getting to the legs of Lambert, who was slow to get up. Number 8 has been a playmaker for him. That was a huge stop on 3rd down to force the field goal.
40-yard field goal attempt coming from Marshall Morgan. Missed a 38-yarder last week. The 40-yard field goal attempt spins in. Georgia is on the board. 3 up there for the Dogs, but the Auburn defense has kept Georgia out of the end zone, preserving a 7-3 Tiger lead. We expect to see a lot of different guys take snaps at quarterback today. Grayson Lambert, slow getting up on that last Georgia possession. So we saw Bryce Ramsey warming up during that last time out on the Georgia sideline. Meanwhile, for Auburn, the question is, do you stay with Jeremy Johnson, or does Sean White, the redshirt freshman, get another opportunity on this next drive for the Tigers?
It's going to be interesting. The coaches told us that they were going to play Sean White today, but if you play him now after a huge interception by Jeremy Johnson, you run the risk of hurting his confidence. So it's going to be interesting. This is a little bit of where coaches earn their money, because they have to manage not only the playing and their execution, but the mental state of their players. I would expect we see Jeremy Johnson again for at least one more series as a result.
Quicken in the Frogs.
The wheels falling off.
Hayden Barber on the 2nd down carry, moves the chains, shakes his way to near the 43-yard line, and it's Mauger who finally shoves him out. Immediately back into the shotgun, ready for 2nd down in midfield. And here goes number 6 on the draw on 2nd down. Feeling pretty good about that one, takes it to the 30. Robinson and Petway in the backfield. On the sweep, Javon Robinson takes it again to just short of the 1st down marker. It's a pickup of 9. Kimbrough makes the stop. On 3rd and 13, here's Johnson. Johnson's going to dance. It's knocked down, incomplete. So 4th and 13. It's Sterling Bailey who puts the pressure on Jeremy Johnson. And this is what you were talking about play calling earlier. You've got the field goal in your hip pocket nearing the end of the half. And one of the best kickers around in Daniel Carlson.
But you have an opportunity to score touchdowns. You don't want 3. But when you shoot yourselves in the foot on a questionable penalty, the bottom line is the Auburn Tigers there work their way backwards instead of forwards. And they're kicking a field goal as a result.
42-yard attempt to make it 13 straight. Would be the longest in Auburn football history. Daniel Carlson's 42-yarder make it 13 straight made field goals for the sophomore from Colorado Springs. And Jenny asked Mark Richt about this hit and said that Grayson Lambert should be okay, but still something to keep an eye on in the second half for Georgia.
Casanova McKenzie wrapped him up low on his legs, and Lambert was slow to get up.
Lambert straight drop. Steps up in the pocket, scrambles for the first down. Lambert dives forward to the 31. Grayson Lambert picks it up himself. Garrett makes the stop after a 13-yard gain.
Jay Rome and Jeb Blazevich, the tight ends for Georgia, going to be on the right side of this offensive line.
McKenzie takes it on the sweep into the end zone. Isaiah McKenzie, touchdown Georgia. For their last 5 on 3rd down. White hit as he throws, heaves it incomplete. He was crushed. And now 2 for 7 on 3rd down overall for Auburn. It was Lorenzo Carter who popped Sean White. The Georgia sideline celebrates.
Just a speed rush off that outside edge.
2nd and 4. Michelle tries to bounce it outside. 3rd down and short with the end of the 3rd coming. So just as we had hoped and anticipated, we go to the 4th quarter, 10-10 between Georgia and Auburn. We'll return to Auburn right after this and a word from your local station. Against Auburn.
Makes a signal there, and you see Jones bails out.
Play action. Lambert, deep shot for Mitchell again. Laying out, incomplete. Flag down. Mitchell and Jonathan Jones tangled up at the goal line. Pass interference on the offense is the call.
Number 26 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
2nd and extremely long for the Bulldogs.
A turnaround handed off Sony Michel. Bounces to the outside, has some room. Michel down at the 45. Here's another flag.
Holding. Number 16 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Levy said number 16, that would be Isaiah McKenzie outside on that perimeter. Georgia's going the wrong way. As an offense, the objective is to move the football down the field in a forward manner. Georgia has not gotten that. Georgia doesn't seem to have gotten that memo, because this brings up a 3rd and 37, Carter. Costly mental errors, but those penalties have put the Bulldogs in a rough spot.
But you never know.
You never know. We saw it 4th and 25 a week ago. Arkansas finding a way to convert. Inside and in front is all Auburn's defense needs to worry about.
Play clock at zeros.
Delay a game. Offense. Okay, penalty. 3rd down.
We've seen Georgia forced to take 3 timeouts to avoid delay of game, and now finally a delay of game to push it even further back. 4 penalties on this drive after 0 in the first 3 quarters for Georgia. So it's Douglas straight ahead. They elect to run it on 3rd and 41 rather than punting it. Now we will see Georgia punt it. And here we are again. Auburn 3rd down with Sean White trying to get a 3rd down conversion, which is something White has not done. And now for 3rd down, here's Jeremy Johnson.
I like this move. Sean White's been given an opportunity, but his location of the football and his accuracy. Remember, you generate your power with your throws with your legs, and if you're fighting an injury, it takes some of the velocity off the ball and can affect accuracy as well.
Lloyd showing pressure off the edge on third down. Johnson in trouble in the backfield. Jeremy Johnson just goes down back at the 6-yard line. The Georgia defense stiffening. Second sack for Georgia. So Kevin Phillips will have to hit this one from his own end zone. Punting from the R in Auburn. Just to get the snap off. The dangerous Isaiah McKenzie grabs it at the 46. McKenzie sprinting ahead. Isaiah McKenzie inside the 20. Georgia on top. 9:29 to go in the fourth. Isaiah McKenzie. The fourth time in his career, Isaiah McKenzie has returned a punt for a touchdown, and this one gives Georgia the lead. Isaiah McKenzie didn't even hit the turf until this. Oh, come on, QB. When they needed you most.
Yeah, and this Georgia defense is running around, man. They're flying to the football. You can feel the momentum shift here, and they're bringing pressure.
Right pressured, hit. Loose football. Georgia has it. The Bulldogs take it at the 17-yard line. Georgia gets the takeaway, and that Bulldog defense that has been stout in the second half has one of its biggest plays yet. Lambert under center. Sony Michel dropped back at the 20. Tackled for loss on first down by Devereaux Lawrence, the junior from Greenville, South Carolina.
Second half of that A&M game, Devereaux Lawrence got some good penetration. They like to move him around a lot. Nothing's gone right a whole lot for Auburn in the second half. They got to pin their ears back and find a way to get this ball to stop, as you see Grayson Lambert there underneath center.
In a big fourth quarter for the Bulldogs and for Mark Richt. Run it again on third down, so maybe playing for the field goal with Marshall Morgan, the senior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Straight ahead from 38 for Marshall Morgan. No. Easily good. And Georgia has a 10-point lead on Auburn as the Tigers and the Bulldogs getting even tougher with 6:49 to go in the fourth. The Georgia defense forces the fumble. The takeaway by the Dogs leads to 3 more for Mark Richt. And Georgia at a 10-point lead in the fourth in Auburn. 3:34 to go. 3rd and 2. Johnson to Lewis. He's going to cut it back the other way. Ricardo Lewis straight ahead. Loose football. Right at the goal line. Who has it? Auburn football. No, it's Georgia football. The Bulldogs get the takeaway at the goal line. Ricardo Lewis, the hero of the prayer play. 73 yards. Fumbles at the goal line. Georgia gets the takeaway, keeping Auburn out of the end zone.
Anytime you reverse field, you lose sight of who's coming after you. And he just gets the ball stripped out. What a huge turnover by Auburn. But the Bulldogs, with so much on the line, finding a way to get it done.
Brought up 3rd and 9.
Georgia may have to win this with defense. You're taking a heck of risk if you do anything here except try and run the football and create some room for your punter. So Auburn will likely get this ball back. They got to be careful here.
Douglas straight ahead, gets it out of the end zone, gets it to the 4.
3rd and final charge timeout of the half.
3rd and 6. Johnson over the middle. It's incomplete. Contact, no flag. Intended for Tony Stevens. Dominic Sanders in coverage. 4th down for Auburn, down by 10.
Georgia's done a nice job in coverage so far today, and this brings up the field goal. That's fine. You got a minute 19 left. Assuming they make this field goal, I would imagine that they would go for an onside kick, and if they get that possession, that's when this game's going to get fun.
He's made 13 straight, Daniel Carlson. This one from 38. The 38-yarder from Carlson is good. So it's back to a touchdown game with 1 minute 14 seconds left. Carlson has the field goal, and Carlson will have the onside kick. Mark Richt and the Bulldogs trying to escape. Auburn not only with a win over their rival, but a big win from Mark Richt. And the momentum he's trying to bring back to the Georgia program at the end of 2015.
I want to know what he told his team at halftime, because the Bulldogs came out in the second half and didn't look like themselves. They were dominant on both sides of the line of scrimmage here early. They've got to focus here. This is a big moment in this game.
Carlson's onside kick. Picked up by Georgia easily. Malcolm Mitchell falls on it. Auburn doesn't have a timeout. It's Georgia football with a touchdown lead, and that will do it.
That was the ball game.
There's a possibility that Georgia wins 10 games in 2015, and then all the pressure around Mark Richt begins to dissipate, and it may be happening right now here in Auburn.
He's always performed at a high level when he's had a quarterback on the roster, and Jacob Eason comes in, one of the better drop back passers, and man, what an unbelievable turn of events here for Georgia. Outstanding effort in the second half. They won this ball game in the second half in the trenches. Georgia's
won now 8 of the last 10. They take the lead in the overall series for the first time since 1986. Meeting number 119 in the Deep South's oldest rivalry goes to Georgia in come-from-behind fashion on the Auburn Tigers. The Ram postgame show is up next. After these messages and a word from your local station.